You learned how to read the room before you learned how to read. You could walk into a house and know within seconds whether tonight was going to be okay. The way a door closed, the specific silence between two people, the smell of whiskey, or stress, or nothing at all. Because sometimes nothing was the loudest thing. You got good at it, scary good, and everyone around you said the same thing. He's so mature for his age, so responsible, so steady. They meant it as a compliment. Here's what they didn't see. That wasn't maturity. That was a nervous system on permanent surveillance. That was a child doing the emotional labor of adults because no one else was going to do it. That calm, collected boy everyone admired, he wasn't peaceful, he was vigilant. There's a difference, and it cost him everything. Psychologists have a word for what happened to you. Parentification. It's when a child is pulled into an adult role, emotionally, practically, or both. Sometimes it's obvious. You became the parent to your siblings. You managed your mother's moods. You became your father's confidant, his little man, his proof that things weren't falling apart. Sometimes it's subtle. No one ever explicitly handed you the weight. It just landed on you, and you held it because you could, and because someone had to. Your brain adapted. That's not a metaphor. It's biology. When a child grows up in an unpredictable or emotionally demanding environment, the amygdala, the brain's threat detection system, becomes chronically activated. The prefrontal cortex, which handles things like play, creativity, and rest, goes quiet. Your stress hormones rewired your development. The brain essentially decided, survival first, childhood later. Later never came. This wasn't weakness. This wasn't damage. This was your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. Protect you. The hypervigilance, the control. At the compulsive self-sufficiency, all of it was brilliant. All of it worked. You made it through. The problem is, you're still running the same software in a world that no longer requires it. You probably don't identify with the word traumatized. That word feels like it belongs to someone else. Someone whose story was worse than yours. So let's talk about the things you do recognize. You struggle to rest. Not sleep, but actually rest. When things are calm, something in you gets uncomfortable. You start scanning for what you might be missing. You find a problem to solve because solving problems feels safer than stillness. Stillness means you might feel something you don't want to feel. You overfunction in relationships. You show up early. You anticipate needs. You hold space for everyone's emotions, while quietly having no idea what to do with your own. People call you a good partner, a good friend, a good man. What they don't know is that caregiving isn't a choice for you. It's a reflex. You learn that love looks like usefulness. You feel vaguely guilty when good things happen, not dramatically guilty, just a low hum of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Joy feels dangerous, like spending money you don't have. Something in you doesn't believe you've earned it, or that it will stay. You have an unusually high threshold for other people's bad behavior. You're patient in ways that aren't healthy. You've talked yourself out of your own needs so many times, you don't always know what they are. The boy who learned to manage adult emotions became the man who manages everyone else's, while his own quietly pile up somewhere he never looks. You find it nearly impossible to ask for help. Not because you're proud, because asking for help at some point either didn't work or wasn't safe. So you stopped. You built a self that didn't need anything from anyone. It was the most efficient solution you could find. It's also the loneliest. Here's what I want to ask you, and I want you to sit with it. Why are you still protecting everyone except yourself? The adults in your childhood needed you to be steady, so you became steady. But those people aren't here right now. You are. And somehow the job didn't end when the circumstances did. You probably walk around saying you're fine, and I believe you believe that. Fine kept you functional. Fine is what you told yourself when the feelings were too big and the situation required you to hold it together. Fine. Got you out of rooms that were breaking you. It's one of the most effective psychological defenses a person can build, but a defense that once protected you can become a prison. Fine means you never have to be seen. Fine means no one worries about you, no one asks too many questions. No one gets close enough to see the parts you've been managing since you were 8 years old. Fine is the mask that worked so well, you forgot there was a face underneath it. The boy who learned to disappear into competence is now a man who doesn't know who he is when he's not being useful to someone. And that's not a character flaw. That's a wound that was never named, never witnessed, never allowed to speak. No one is coming back to give you the childhood you deserved. There's no version of this where someone shows up, sees everything you held, and makes it right. That's brutal. I'm not going to soften it. But here's what is true. You can go back for yourself, not literally, psychologically. There's a concept called inner child work. And before you dismiss it as soft, understand what it actually means. It means you locate the part of you that was formed under pressure, the part that learned to perform maturity before it was ready. Oh, and you extend to that part what was never extended when it mattered. Acknowledgement. Patience. Permission to exist without earning it. Carl Jung called the parts of ourselves we suppress in order to survive the shadow. Not evil, not weakness, just the pieces that didn't fit the role you were assigned, the grief you swallowed, the anger you had no right to show, the need that felt like a burden. Integration means bringing those pieces back into the whole. It means you stop managing yourself like a problem to be contained. You've spent years making sure no one had to worry about you. The work now is learning to worry about yourself. With the same consistency, the same care, the same commitment you gave to everyone else. Healing from this isn't going to feel like relief at first. It's going to feel like grief. You'll mourn the childhood that existed in between the responsibilities. You'll feel anger that took 30 years to arrive. You'll sit with sadness that was frozen when you were too young to process it, and it will thaw and it will hurt. That's not regression. That's completion. You're finishing something that was interrupted. The goal isn't to become someone new. The goal is to remember who you were before the weight landed, before the room reading, before the invisible job description, before someone else's instability became your responsibility. There was a boy in there who wanted things for himself. Who had his own fears, his own wonder, his own hunger for life that had nothing to do with being needed. That boy didn't disappear. He just went quiet, because quiet was survival. You're not broken. You're not damaged goods. You are someone who did something extraordinary under pressure for years, without recognition or rest. And now you're standing at the place where extraordinary endurance meets the choice to finally live differently. You didn't just survive the weight. You carried it without collapsing. Now put it down and write what comes next.